Hello, people. We are
of
live.
Earth.
Yes, people of Earth. Human Earth.
Nice. The human Earth. Oh,
Yes. We'll just gonna a chill stream talking about paranormal activity and
yeah.
the interesting actual paranormal stuff about it.
Yeah, because I mean, they obviously they used some real things from real cases, witness reports, that sort of thing in the movie. Plus, it's just a good movie.
Yeah, but it's interesting because like I've watched a lot of like ghost stuff and paranormal activity actually takes like a lot of ghost hunter stuff into account. Oh, just like a
It
lot of
does.
like real life investigation knowledge into the movie and turns it
It
into something
does.
entertaining.
Yeah, I think you had just figured out that in the fourth one when they do the Xbox Connect thing.
Yeah, the
That
dot
the
projector.
Yeah. Did you find that out because we played Phasmophobia?
Yep. I didn't know that was
That's
a thing
pretty good.
until Phasmophobia.
Yeah. You can learn a few things from Phasmophobia, even. It's crazy.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah. Okay, let's get started at the very beginning.
Okay. Okay. So, for those who haven't seen the movie, it's about a couple, Katie and Mika. Um, it sort of just starts, and Katie is pulling in the driveway, and Mika's got a camera, and he's got this camera to essentially start catching some paranormal
Yeah,
phenomena that's been
documenting the
happening.
whole thing because
Yeah.
Katie's confessed that she has always had a ghost of some supernatural entity following her.
She thought it was a ghost.
Yeah, I thought it was a ghost. And Mika is kind of like an ass throughout the whole movie about
Well,
like
I mean, it's also one of those things like when you try to explain, I don't know, depression to someone and they're like, oh, well, just don't be depressed. It's kind of like that. If you haven't had something haunt
yeah,
you,
but
you're
that's like
very
so
curious.
unempathetic, you know? Like
I know. It's just, I think it's, yeah, he's an ass, but I don't think he means
he
to be
didn't mean
such
it.
an
He
ass.
was he was over
No.
eager to like uh
Mm-hmm.
to basically communicate with this spirit or ghost or
Yeah.
demon. And that kind of like goes into the very first thing is like we've talked about it. You've mentioned that when you want to communicate with the spirit realm, intention is a
Yeah.
big thing about the whole thing.
Absolutely. Like I've got a deck of tarot cards that I got about a year and a half ago, and I haven't used them yet because first I need to know a lot more about them, and then second, you kind of the intention. Like I'm not planning to communicate with ghosts or anything or tell the future. I kind of want to see if I can talk to aliens with it. Is the truth, and that's true. And I want
Oh,
to see if that can work.
do the aliens have to be using tarot cards at the exact same time as you for it to be working?
That's a good question. We will find out. You know. I'll ask them, are you using tarot cards right now? And if they say yes, then,
But like you
it's
pull
good.
the death card like next.
Oh my God. And then they start hunting.
Yeah, it becomes
Yeah.
Predator all over again. No, but like in the movie, Mika's like taunting the spirits on like the camera, like he's almost
Yeah. Was it?
mocking him in a way.
Yeah. Like he'll be like, oh, nothing's happened in a while. Like, what are you going to do?
Yeah,
Like any sort of tough guy or like Chad sort of would do. But I mean, if they're messing with somebody that you love and you're like, well, fuck you, come at me. I kind of like, I can see where he's coming from
I get
as
that,
well.
but like in let's say someone actually taunted spirits in this way in real life, you expect adverse reaction.
Yeah.
Now how about simple curiosity? Is that insulting to the spirit realm?
I don't think so, but depending on what it is, they might see it as more of an invitation, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think certain things, I guess demonic entities or something like that. Because, I mean, I guess in my mind right now, I'm sure, there's something other than ghosts and demons, but in my mind right now, those are the two things that we're kind of looking at. Um, Yeah. See, I think depending on what it is, yeah, it would probably take both as one more than the other as an invitation. I just
So,
realized I spelled psychic wrong. Good lord! Right?
but is it almost like a vampire kind of thing where you have to invite a ghost in or invite a demon in?
Mm-mm.
Or can they can come without an invitation?
Yeah,
It's simply communicating with them the invitation.
yeah. So, all right, in this movie, Katie has what she thinks is a ghost following her, but you find out that it's more of a demonic entity. But what's weird, because like in later on, I think in the second movie, you find out that her mother. Spoilers. So if you haven't seen these freaking old movies, go watch them or pause here. I don't care. Their mother was in like a demonic sort of coven almost, and I don't really know what the point. I can't remember what the point of it was or what the the high point of it was, but they offered up like one of their male children, I guess, once every generation or something like that, right? And so what this demon did was latched onto the oldest child to wait until she had a kid and hoping it was a son.
They basically
And
they made a contract for the demon to be there.
um sort of, but see, that brings up the whole invitation thing, which is what I was trying to make a point with. Like, when I was young, there's certain things happen. Of course, we were never inviting something in, but I guess when you try to speak to something through a spirit board and you give them permission, I guess with some things you do need to give them. I guess it depends. That's weird. I was trying to think out loud, basically.
Yeah, no, I like this idea, like having intentions with spirits,
Yeah.
and if they require an invitation.
Yeah,
and I don't know, it's an interesting
dangerous
it's an
if you
interesting
allow them
concept.
in. Yeah, I think it's probably always a bad idea to if something says, "Can I come in?" Just say no. Don't let it. It's not your mom. I promise. It's probably not. Oh, sorry.
Demons in your house.
I have demons.
Yes,
I let them in. Okay, so this movie sort of starts September 18th, 2006 is when Mika starts filming. And it had been happening, like some, small things were happening before then, I guess. And then he wanted to catch it on video. So the first night they start hearing like footsteps. Well, all right. So he sets up the camera so he can get things documented, which is a cool idea in theory. They go to sleep around 3 a.m., which is pretty recurring throughout this whole thing. The witching hour, which is interesting in itself. Around 3 a.m., you hear footsteps in the hallway on the camera, which is sort of what they heard to start with. And Mika and Katie get up in the morning. She goes downstairs and finds her keys thrown on the floor. She's like, "Oh my God, did you do this?" And he said, "No."
Yeah, the cliche of
it's a ghost.
Them not believing what they're saying. Oh, believing that there is a ghost. But the footsteps are interesting. It's like the demonic possession is very...
Oh.
It's
I just saw this name in chat.
Yeah, the demonic possession is very weak. Oh, not possession, but like haunting is very weak. It starts very subtle, like footsteps.
Well, because
and there's always like when it's in the presence of electronics like the camera, there's a low hum to it all,
Yeah.
And
that's what I started with, like each one of these night's notes. It all starts with humming.
Yeah, it's
humming.
Always some kind of humming. And it goes back to this idea that like some electronics can pick up this spirit, that they interfere with it somehow. And what do you think? Why can electronics pick up this and have some interference with the spirit realm?
I don't know, but so like with infrasound, it's a lower frequency or whatever. I don't, the hertz. It's lower than what humans can hear, and cameras will pick things up. So maybe it's something below the point that we can actually hear. I don't know. It seems to be like a really common theme with paranormal things, cryptid creatures, demons, ghosts, whatever. They have effects on electronics Oh, like with an EMF reader, electromagnetic frequencies. Spirits and demons tend to sort of radiate some sort of electromagnetic frequency. I don't know why that is. I've never hunted a ghost in real life. It's not ever gonna happen. I've only done it in a game.
But okay, so ghosts are radioactive. Okay, good to know.
That's not what I said.
No,
they
basically,
seem to let off electromagnetic frequencies.
They're radioactive. That's all you need to know. No,
sure,
but
just
it's
be
a weird
careful.
thing that like for centuries and centuries, there's like very little way to interact with the spirit realm. But with electronics, there is some theory that you can, and people have picked up shit on like spirit boxes and all that.
Yeah, they can interact with it. It's interesting because they can't really interact with much, but it seems to be they can just interact with electronics. With the TV, turn on the, turn it to the in between the channels, or again, with the spirit box and radios. Like the first concept for a spirit box was a radio that was constantly flipping between stations or in between stations so that it could speak through it. I don't know why, but it's really interesting. This is the I don't know why, but it's really cool episode, I think.
I just have doubts about it all, but it's just weird that you can pick up something.
How would you explain it if it wasn't what we're talking about right now?
Microwaves. No,
okay.
It depends on like this scenario. It's her to like say explain this very abstract idea.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's odd, and paranormal, like ghost stuff, is the closest I come to believing anything paranormal. I don't know, something about ghost stuff is just weird to me. Ouija birds,
a lot of unexplained things,
ghost hunting, all that.
Yeah. Don't touch a Ouija board. Don't do it. It's dangerous. Please don't do it.
Yeah. Everyone, go out, buy one, try it.
Don't call me when you die.
I'm not doing it. Everyone else, just come back if you do it.
Sure.
Yeah. But yeah, after like the first night, they talk about like the actual history of this, and Katie reveals that she's been having these experiences since 8. Like
she was like 8 years old, yeah.
And it's very periodical. It goes into these cycles of where it's dormant and active. Like having a shadowy figure at the foot of her bed when she was a child.
Yeah, her sister had seen it as well.
It's weird. Like just because like this spirit is attached to Katie, but like you said, it's a demon contract or something. But it's
sort of
to a know nothing like me. When I think of a ghost, I think, oh, it's attached to a building or an object, When demon, I think it's
kind of usually what happens.
Yeah, is a demon is hunting someone. Is that just the general idea?
I guess so, yeah. Because that's really. I mean, I'm sure there are some differences here and there, or some exceptions to those rules, but I guess whenever you hear of a person being haunted, it's some sort of demonic entity. And when, somebody's like, I got a ghost in my house, they leave that house and then you never hear those stories again. Yeah.
So basically, a demon's attached to someone usually. They want something from someone.
Yeah. Well, and it makes sense though, because what do they want? They want your soul. Usually. Right? Yeah. They do. They need a soul. I don't know. I don't know why. I know it. She explains so Katie calls a doctor / psychic over him, Dr. Fredericks. I can't. Same thing. And he's asking her questions, and eventually you find out that when she was like 13 or so, I think, I don't know, maybe it was before that, their house burned down and everything with it. They couldn't find the cause of what started the fire. And she keeps experiencing those like periodic hauntings that you had mentioned, and like all throughout her life. And I guess just recently it started back up again. And So the psychic explains, and this is true, negativity feeds, the haunting or the entity itself. But his expertise is with ghosts and not demonic hauntings.
But
he explains to Katie that you cannot run from it. It'll only get worse. So he refers her to another doctor named Dr. Avery's.
Johann.
Johann Avery's. And he explains that it wants Katie.
Yeah.
And so Mika's like, I want to get a spirit board. And they're like, no. But,
Yeah. But the idea of negative energy feeds a demon. What feeds a ghost?
I don't think there is really anything that feeds like a ghost, though.
Is it like, is a ghost really just like an echo of someone's being imprinted on the building?
I've wondered that. I think it's definitely an explanation because Dayglow thinks so. So it makes a lot of sense for sure. Because I guess that there's one explanation, like, that's limbo for a lot of people. I don't really like that one. I don't know.
Like people trapped to wander here is like limbo, or and then like the thing I brought up is like an echo of someone's life, or like just echoes of different moments of their life or thoughts, or maybe even this echo is somewhat independent, carrying on some of the person's personality.
Yeah, and like you and I had talked about, because I grew up in Georgia, and like whatever, like a little bit south of Atlanta. So there's a lot of bad things that have happened there. Slavery, many years of wars.
It's you hear like a lot of hauntings from places with a lot of history or a lot of trauma.
Yeah, so you hear a lot more that places with bad things that have happened have more hauntings. So, and like Dayglow had said, it's an echo playing on its own timeline, but usually it's not a great thing. So it seems like things with stronger emotions attached to them tend to be echoed as well. And that's also interesting too. Like, why? Oh my, sorry, my Alexa thought I was talking to her. That's great.
So yeah, you said the word.
I did. I said
it all along.
I know. Yeah. Okay. Great. Just to get me to talk to my Alexa. That's cool.
Okay. Yeah. Let's move on.
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's go.
No. It's interesting. So basically, if you inflict enough trauma onto a property, you can make a haunting. Essentially.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it seems like a common thing that happens because. All right, there's a huge war. A lot of people die. There's a lot of sadness. You might hear, I don't know, of a sad soldier guy walking down the road, and you just only see him ever just walking sadly. It's sad. Every single ghost story you hear is sad, usually.
Not Casper.
Casper is different. I don't know what his deal is.
Can you not imagine a world where someone can die happy?
I'm not saying they can't die happy. It's just, hauntings are usually not happy.
Yeah, you usually think like a haunting isn't.
No.
Yes, Casper is a dead kid, but he died happy.
Yeah. What did I do? Oh my god, I did.
But yeah, no. Usually when you think haunting, ghosts, you think something bad. A lot of like negative emotions imprinted itself onto this property or object.
My aunt had this really, really old boarding house in Missouri, and when we went there, randomly we would just sort of smell pipe tobacco, and that was the haunting in their house. It was a smell.
Someone smoked too much, and that was a haunting.
It could be. I know. But see, the weird thing was nobody smoked in the house, and they didn't really have anybody outside when it was happening. So it was kind of odd. It could have been related to something good or bad that had happened in that house, and it was sort of just like an emotional, weird attachment. I've heard of a lot of people who've had like smells as their ghost, basically. Yeah.
Are you sure someone just didn't like stuff tobacco like into floorboards or something? Like.
I don't think so, but I guess it could have happened.
I feel
But
like
I
there's
don't
so
think
many
it would have
other
smelled that way
logical.
for so long. Why would it? But why would it pop up throughout the house, though? Right?
Someone put tobacco in the air ducts.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Yeah. Yep. I don't like it. I don't like that explanation. I think it's dumb.
Also, chat saying that Casper died of pneumonia. Not a fun way to go. I reject this lure of Casper. He died happily.
Yeah. What do you know? He
Yeah.
died happy.
Yeah, he's friendly.
Yeah.
No, okay, yeah. So what's a cursed object then? Is this an object that's haunted? Because we were talking about this and you said when I said is a cursed object haunted and you said no. So what's the difference?
I don't know. Okay, again, I'm really not an expert on like ghosts or demons or anything. I just know a few things because I have been through some of these things. I've got some friends that, they hunt ghosts and stuff, which I would like to have them come and put their actual knowledge into this stuff. But so that's a question I definitely want to ask when we've got someone here who knows about those things. I'm not, okay. So I think a cursed object could be haunted, but I guess really all right. So like when a location is haunted, it's got a ghost. When an object is haunted, it's got to have some sort of spiritual attachment of something, demonic or a ghost. So I don't know why I said no. Because it makes sense that it would be haunted, and I could be wrong.
Indrid lied to me.
I didn't lie. I just don't know anything. Okay.
That's even worse. Ignorance is not an excuse.
But it is. It is.
Okay. No. So okay. The next like eventful night was like night 3. Yeah. So there's like big gaps between.
Night 3 was September 20th. It was okay. We started on the 18th. Now it's the 20th.
Yeah, and it's like it's escalating.
Mm-hmm. You start hearing the rumbling or the humming. You can hear floorboards creaking. The door closes very slightly, and then it opens again, and then the humming goes away.
Yeah.
And the next morning, they review the footage, and they're spooked.
Yeah, and
Mika sort of mocks it.
Taunting the spirit again.
What the point of closing the door was. And then Katie was like, I think it's the monster that's haunting me. Like it wants to hurt her and Mika. And they look through a book about demons, basically. That's sort of that day.
And also like Katie's like having this sense of dread constantly.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So it's almost like a blanket in the house smothering them a bit, emotionally.
That's really a good way to put it. Yeah. Well, all right. So you started playing Mortuary Assistant recently, and as you like when you play Rebecca, just imagine being Rebecca. Like when you wanted to go turn the light back on in the hallway, you're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like that huge feeling of dread.
Yeah. Right? It's like fear. It does almost paralyze you into not being able to take a few steps into a hallway, Yeah. Because you feel like a stranger in your own house, like you're in a turret.
You're not wanted there, but what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that too. And I've watched a lot of things about like demonic possession and stuff, and it seems like they sort of they tend to make you look at everything horribly. It's really oppressive, and it makes you feel bad mentally and physically as well. So that's not fun.
And it's curious, like it escalates over time. The overall possession of haunting. It's just because like the demon's building up energy. Like they begin very slow, almost just to cause that dread, so it can create this almost like feedback loop of negative energy.
Right, and like okay, so if you start out as all right, you're a demon and you want someone's soul, you're not gonna go in there like guns blazing. You don't want them to be like, oh, there's something really wrong. Kind of just creep up and just ramp things up, make it seem like it's nothing. I'm not going to tell anybody about this because I don't want to seem crazy. So then there's that first seed of doubt in their mind that's like, oh my god, I'm crazy, nobody's going to believe me. So I guess if so you start escalating it, it's going to get to a point where they finally break and nobody does believe. I guess I'm thinking out loud.
Well, also it's like that sense of helplessness because who are you
That
gonna
too.
call? Like the police? No,
Not the
Ghostbusters. No,
no,
Ghostbusters.
no.
Won't be there. It's
Dr. Fredericks? Nope.
no, nothing.
No, no.
Oh, speaking of Ghostbusters, I can get some music on. There we go.
Oh yeah, you didn't have music on? What hell? What the hell?
Disaster stream. I know.
This is terrible. I'm sorry. It's his fault.
Oh, okay. But yeah, it's interesting, this idea that there's a cycle to this haunting, like because like yeah, it's also it builds up tension for the movie, but from what I've seen in other like actual like cases of ghost hunting, it always starts off simple and it builds up to some crescendo. It always builds up to some escalation.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense though that you would have to. It's like collecting negativity, like you're collecting bricks or something to build a house. You got to get more to build it up really high. As a weird analogy, but it works a little bit. So the next night they record is night 5.
Yeah, 5, 22nd.
Yeah, 22nd. All right, I thought I got the number wrong. It starts with Mika. He's got the camera in his hands and he's setting the alarm. He states that the windows and doors are locked. Then he puts the camera down there in bed. And you start hearing the humming noise. Katie wakes up really scared after a nightmare, just like sits up like, ooh. Is at 3 a.m. as well. And they hear a really loud slam downstairs. They go to check and find nothing. And they go back to bed. It's so horrible.
Yeah,
oh my God.
It's interesting, like, at first we would just hear footsteps, like some noises, but it's actually interacting with things, slamming shit, turning on the closet.
That's the scariest part.
So it's like it's this escalation that it's bridging that gap from the spirit realm to reality, or like actual. It falls into this idea like what you've discussed it before, like with liminality. It's like this transition from one realm to another. Is it something good. Like that?
I think it's a good like parallel to draw to for real, like because I guess it is sort of a symbol of them coming into the realm. I don't know if it's exactly that, but I think it's definitely related for sure. Like. Yeah, I mean, yeah, because they're crossing over and they're trying to get in. So I guess that is sort of, the changing of realities or spaces. So yeah, probably. And I think the fact that, once you realize that it can interact with things in the physical world, I think that's probably when it would be the most terrifying. Like, oh my God.
Yeah,
this is really dangerous.
This thing that I can't see now has power over me, or the things around me.
Yeah. It has some sort of power, and I can't see it. I can't touch it. I don't want to touch it. Oh my God. That's so scary. So the next day, Katie is obviously uncomfortable and creeped out. She's got her friend over there, she's doing some sort of arts and crafts, I guess, trying to forget about the night before, just move on with her life. And so Mika comes up to her and her friend to show them an audio recording that he took from the footage the night before. And right before Mika and Katie wake up at, I don't know what time it was, before they woke up, you can hear something. It's like a growl. Or no, I'm sorry, it was in a different language, but they don't know what it was. It's just creepy.
Yeah.
So then Mika decides he really wants to get a Ouija board. And they're like, no, are you stupid? No. That's that day.
Yeah, it's interesting, like picking up sounds, any language, different things on some sort of recording. And you see it like with every ghost hunting show. It's a cliche and everything. But there's also
I think it's a cliche because it's got to have happened, and I think it just works. I don't know. I want to try it, but I also really don't.
Why don't you do your tarot cards and see if the aliens whisper to you with it,
They're not here. It wouldn't be an alien whispering to me. Are you kidding?
Yeah. No, they'll whisper through the tarot cards. Oh, you know what you could do? You could try and communicate with the spirit realm with Alexa. You can like have them funnel through her voice, you know, with the tarot cards. Yeah, you should do that. Let's do it live right now.
Absolutely not. No, you do it.
I don't have an Alexa. I'm sorry. And I don't have tarot cards.
Oh my god. Oh, fuck it. No, I'm not doing that.
Imagine like you're just hanging out and you just hear Alexa tune on by herself.
Oh. Well, that's happened before, but I think it was just something weird. But I've noticed that when you do these sorts of things for an audience, it's less likely to actually basically like pick up the phone, basically. You know what I mean?
Oh, so like seances, like with a group, you know.
Well, like if I were to broadcast it with the intent of showing proof to other people, again, intent, it would be less likely to happen. Oh. I'm not gonna offer up my soul for the content.
I agree with chat. You should do it. It'd be funny.
No, nah.
Okay.
You wouldn't get any more of this super enlightening content then if I were gone.
Episode 100, we'll do it.
Oh God!
Yeah.
No!
Yeah. Indrid promised. Okay, you got that. It's a promise.
No! Ugh. God. All right, moving on. So
no, I want to talk about the Ouija board specifically.
Okay, fine. Fine.
What makes the Ouija board like specifically so bad compared to like other like attempts to communicate? You know, like the camera, tarot cards. What makes the Ouija board specifically bad?
It seems to I'm not an expert, but it seems like this is a really specific way to allow things to come in. It's been seen as a gate, like a gateway, an entrance into our world from that one. So something way back when, it just is this object that has been used to allow things to come from that side to this side. And firstly, all right, so you've got means to communicate with it more so than any other sort of, I guess, occult object or, paranormal sort of object. It can literally spell things out and speak to you and give you answers to your questions and say, can I come in? You can say yes or no. It seems more dangerous and it seems more pointed in...
Do you think it's dangerous because of the simplicity of it? Like, it doesn't take much energy from a ghost or a demon just to move...
Maybe.
To move a little thing around a little bird.
I don't know. I don't know.
Because, like, it's weird that like there's all these different ways to communicate. Like picking up a pen and just scribbling on a piece of paper, going through a TV.
Hey, okay, you're right. Yeah, you're right. All right, I see that now, and I think so. Maybe it's probably because most things cannot interact with the physical world, and when they do, it's a sign of power. Oh, that's also a scary part of it. If it can move, the little planchette, it's got some sort of power.
Well, yeah, because also like I imagine, like the ghost has to. A ghost or demon has to exert like some energy to move a physical object, in our world. So they have to burn some ghost calories to actually do that, and most might not want to do that,
God.
They haven't turbo loaded prior to a communication.
Well, if you're gonna talk to a human through a Ouija board, you need a carbo load beforehand. It's tough, man. It's really tough.
But can you imagine like a demon breaking out into a sweat, like pushing that to yes?
I'm just imagining it like pushing it with both of its index fingers, like.
Yeah, and the question is, should I put mayo on the sandwich? It's like struggling, like that sandwich needs mayo, some shit. Like the question's inconsequential, but it needs
planchette just goes straight up to yes.
Yes. And that demon exhausted its energy for a century, and it has to take another soul now.
Oh my God. Anyway, any other questions or thoughts about the
I was
Ouija
just
board?
curious because it's like there's so many different ways to communicate, like especially now. It's just odd that a Ouija board, because even prior, like in history, there's plenty of different ways: scribbling on a page, curving into a wall, just something,
Well, I think moving a tiny tiny wooden triangle is probably easier.
Probably the easiest thing for
than
spirit.
Scratching like help in the wall, you know?
Like SOS.
Yeah. So we jump quite a bit ahead to night 13 from, the night 15. So we're at September 30th now. They're setting up the camera in the bedroom for the night, and Mika sort of mocks it and says, nothing interesting happened in a while. And he sort of calls the entity out and calls it worthless before getting into bed. Super smart, really smart doing that. They're asleep again around 3 a.m., a little after. You start hearing like thudding sounds as well as, the humming that's always there at night, right when everything starts to go to hell. You hear thudding, scraping, and thumping. Katie wakes up due to hearing these noises. The thumping is still happening. You hear this incredibly loud shriek, and along with like this huge slam.
Yeah.
So they both get up and they go to check the living room, and the ceiling lamp is like swinging. And they go upstairs, and the thumping continues for a while, and then it sort of just cuts to the next day.
Yeah, it's curious. Like that goes into its like MO of just wanting to cause constant dread. It's just it. But the shrieking, I feel like that escalates it even further to like just going from thumping to like verbalizing something.
That's vocal.
Yeah. But Mika taunting the spirit, like you don't like. We've established you don't want to be taunting these things.
No.
Why? Do they have something to prove? Like they're compensating for something? they
Again, put yourself in the demon shoes, okay? You want this person's soul. The other person is sort of in your way, and you're like, man, I got to deal with this guy too. And now he's calling me like a little baby. I'm worthless. I'll show you. It's sort of like the "I'll show you." I think the reaction that's what it seems like to me. Like, oh yeah, you want to see what I can do? I'll show you.
Oh, the demon's a little scamp. He's just having fun,
He's fine. No. Fine.
But no, it's weird that like this being with so much power is insulted by such like because it's probably looking down as a human
commands respect, though, right? If this thing doesn't respect you, especially such a lowly being, if he's looking down on humans, it's like, oh, hell no. I'll show you.
Yeah, but it's also a sign of, like, insecurity in a way, where it's like, this lowly being can get to you.
I don't know if, like, entities like this have things like, insecurities. Maybe they do. It just doesn't seem like something that, they would need or have.
Okay, so
like, I hope they like me.
Well, that's not even that, but it's just the appearance. It just appears to be insecure if it's, if you have to like react, if you're like, if you're some mighty powerful spirit. Why do you care that this guy with a name Mika is insulting you? It's like, why are you gonna waste your time on that? Just go straight for the possession.
I guess so, yeah. But again, you have to build. And so, here's a way. Okay, so this guy doesn't believe that you have the power, right? That is not enough negativity in in the area.
That is true. Like
you bring that up, and then there's doubt and fear.
So it's like
you're basically inviting it to make you scared and to feed on that.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. It just seems like when you think of like negative emotions, you think fear, sadness, depression. When you think of positive emotions, you think happiness, joy, laughter. Not doubt. Doubting someone's power isn't like typically.
Well, like I meant like self-doubt. Like, oh shit, maybe I was wrong, and this is a thing. Oh my god. But that's fear as well. So I don't know.
Well, I mean, Mika was doubting the spirit, its capabilities. Could the demon get depressed itself and feed off its own depression?
I don't think so. I don't think that's how it works.
Could it doubt its
I
own
noticed
ability?
someone in chat said evil spirits have feelings too. I don't know if that applies here. I don't think it does. I think they've got one goal, and that is
this spirit
rhyme,
is
your soul.
The spirit's very insecure. It needs a pickup truck, a very big one, to compensate. It needs to make a lot of noise all the time.
Yeah, well, you know, I guess that does sort of sound like a child who doesn't get enough attention.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know. I'm not talking bad about demons, by the way. Like, no, don't come here.
You don't want to get possessed.
I don't want to.
I mean, it's already possessing your Alexa. It's too late.
Yeah. Oh my god, people. All right, sorry. I'm just like getting a bunch of messages while we're doing this. Is crazy. I want to just focus on demons, so let's do that.
Okay. What?
The next day.
They picked up like growling on the audio.
Yeah. Mika wants more to happen, weirdly, and he's still fascinated by it. He insists on, you know, continuing to document it with the camera. Katie really wants him to stop doing that. So Mika goes upstairs by himself and does an EVP experiment, electronic voice phenomena experiment. And he asks it questions, so he goes to play it back, and he gets a scary deep growl in response. That's what happens that day. I think did he show Katie that one? I can't remember.
I think so, but it doesn't really matter. It's just interesting that it went from speaking some language to growling.
Okay. When you think demons, like, they sort of speak Aramaic, and if you find out that the person you're trying to communicate with doesn't speak that language, but you want to convey fear, you'd make a really scary sound.
I mean,
that makes sense to me.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, next night. And most important thing. Like at 1:30, Katie gets up middle of the night and stands over the bed watching Mika until the witching hour.
So she's standing there for 2 hours just staring at Mika.
And it's like this trance with obviously like a audible distortion happening the whole time. Like
the humming.
And it's this idea. Is that like a beginning? The idea of the beginning of a possession, like it's very
starting
mild.
Yeah.
Like getting someone to get up and stand for a certain amount of time. Is that a sign of possession?
I don't know. Again, but I guess in this movie it makes it seem like it is, and that's probably there for dramatic effect. I don't know about.
Do you think it's?
I don't know if you'd hear humming. I don't know if you'd hear humming in real life if somebody was possessed. Like when I've watched
well, it's not
A Haunting.
It's not us hearing the humming. It's the electronics hearing it.
Okay. Well, I've never really seen anything like that before. It's definitely possible. I don't know if it's a sign of possession, though. You know?
Yeah, I was wondering if this was just a dramatic effect, or is for the story itself in the movie, or is it an actual thing where it's like a person's personality is getting disassociated from themselves. Like they go into trances, they become lethargic.
I thought you were talking about the damn noise.
No, not
the lethargy. Yes, absolutely. The lethargy, the depression. Yeah. If someone like that around you who's normally very happy and positive, and they start becoming like really tired and sad and angry and everything, and like with a short fuse, that's not good.
Hold on.
What?
Okay.
What happened?
Sorry, I lost audio.
Oh.
Yeah. What did he say?
I said if someone you know, if they're normally happy and active and whatever, if they start becoming lethargic, sad, and angry, and they've got like a short fuse, that has been sort of a sign of the early stages for a very long time. From everything that I've heard in almost every single case that I've read about or heard about or seen.
Mm-hmm. But so drastic shifts in personality.
They're not themselves, and it's always negative.
Yeah.
And that's going to bring in more negativity from the people around them, and it's going to just be sad. And that sucks.
So a lot of things about hauntings are sad. Okay.
Well, yeah, I meant like demonic.
I know. Demonic.
Yeah.
But so the trance could be like a real thing where like they're getting up in the middle of the night to make them restless, make them tired so they don't get enough sleep, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because it's like
their body awake.
Doing research on some of these hauntings, the most famous ones, there's always like something going on, like a shift in personality, or they're not getting enough sleep, something, you know, and there's no medical explanation.
Usually, no, there's not. And I've seen stories, or not stories, you know, cases or whatever, with people having seizures, and there's no medical explanation for it, or other weird things, and it's just they can't pick it up, so you know, therefore it's not taken very seriously. That night when Katie finally does leave the bedroom around 3:30 in the morning, she looks like she's sleepwalking, you know, the trance. Mika finally gets up to go find her, and she's sitting on the swing outside, and it's really cold. It's October. She's just sitting out there in her like shorts and tank top and just staring. And so Mika's like, come inside, and she just doesn't want to. She doesn't want to be inside. So Mika goes to get blankets. He hears a loud thump upstairs, and so he walks upstairs to see what it is. The TV's on, it's got static, of course. And then Katie, there's like a little jump scare where, you know, he turns around and boom, there's Katie right in the bedroom doorway, and it's a good one. But she doesn't know what just happened. She's like, what are you doing? Why is that light in my face?
And the next day, she had no memory of it. So imagine like you lose control of your body and you do things without realizing.
Yeah. That part's terrifying to me. Like there's stories with people losing time and they can't remember where that time went. That's got to be terrifying.
Yeah, it's awful. The idea is terrifying itself, but in this case, it's due to demonic possession. And it's weird that you just go from simple thumping and then this is night 15. 2 weeks later, it's strong enough to possess, at least to a very basic degree, just to make them walk around. At least in Paranormal Activity's timeline. But sometimes you like, in some cases in real life, it's just you read about it being years they're in this state before like they get really violent, you know. I've heard
that too, and it's a much longer time.
So here it just seems like it's accelerated just for entertainment value. At least compared to like real life cases. But do you think it's due to like a difference in demons' power?
It could be. I mean, there've got to be varying degrees of, or, you know, like a sort of even a hierarchy of, or I guess different types, you know? I don't know much about them. I guess because it scares me. You know, I've not really read into them super much, or a lot, really. I don't know. But it seems like it'd be pretty believable if there were like a hierarchy or different kinds, or
well, I mean, there's
other
like
kinds that
demons,
have certain abilities that others don't. Or
like there's demons with different names and stuff, you know.
Yeah, there are houses of demons.
Well, you know, like imps, scamps, Irk Devil, you know, like all those.
That kind. The next day, Katie and Mika are reviewing the video footage, and she's visibly extremely confused at what's happening. She doesn't remember any of it, and they're both scared. And Katie really wants to bring in Dr. Avery's, and Mika's like, I don't know if I think bringing in someone else will make it worse. So they go out on a date, but while Katie's getting ready, Mika shows the camera that he's got a Ouija board that he got from a friend. And when she comes downstairs, he wants to show Katie. She's understandably pissed. So they go out on their date and they leave the Ouija board there. You hear the humming noise.
Understandably pissed? Mika was just trying to help.
Understandably pissed.
He was just trying to... It's both Katie's fault because she was feeding the negative energy by getting pissed.
Okay. Sure.
No,
sure.
like this whole thing is like Mika is kind of being an ass, not being respectful of Katie's feelings throughout the movie. But
I mean, he's curious.
He's overly curious to the extent it's hurting the relationship, and that kind of like plays into the idea like with this multiple people living in a household, and one has a demon attached. The demon's going to try and like mess with their relationship to create
Yes.
negativity.
Absolutely.
You know? So
it's going to make things worse in any way it possibly can.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's a fun idea in terms of a movie. It's fun. Yeah. It's fun as a concept. But we can all agree, including chat, it's Katie's fault.
Sure.
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not?
So they leave to go out on their date. You hear the humming noise. You hear what sounds like really heavy footsteps coming down the stairs. The planchette starts to move on the Ouija board really rapidly, and then you see fire on it, and it's like just burning, and then you hear the footsteps go back up the stairs, and the fire eventually just kind of goes away. It doesn't really spread or anything. So they return to find like the board with weird symbols burned onto it. So Katie freaks out and says, "No more camera." Later on that evening, you see Katie and Mika, like after some bickering and stuff, you see them in their bedroom, and she's making him swear to follow her rules and to basically not offend the entity as a quote punishment is what I wrote.
Yeah.
Because it seemed a little weird, but I get it.
Yeah.
So the next day, Mika is researching the burned images that were left on the board, and he was sort of trying to figure out where the planchette was moving on the camera, and it spelled out a possibility was Diane that it had spelled out. What's interesting about that is that eventually he looks up on the computer similar cases with certain similarities and symptoms and stuff. This woman, Diane, had a serious case of possession a long time ago, and it was basically just telling the future, and they didn't pay attention to it.
Well, do you think it was like a demon bragging about its past conquest, you know?
I think so.
Or do you think it was just like to say, hey, this is what's going to happen to you? Like, it has no connection to that case, you know? Do you think demons like do that, where they like keep a little screw count of who they've possessed and who they've killed? You know, it's just almost like a
they're serial killers.
Yeah, like serial killers. Do they like keep a memento? You know, of do demons like enjoy this as almost a game rather than just like just
it seems like
job? This is just their entertainment.
It seems for me, like I was gonna say, it seems like a job to them, but you know, each of them, it seems like they're getting creative with it. Which to get creative with something, you have to enjoy doing it, right?
Oh, okay.
So,
I hope my demon has a passion.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Oh God, it's terrifying.
Well, can you imagine getting a burring demon? Like he'll just like make you get up and like just watch TV for like 12 hours, and then you just wake up out of your trance.
I would prefer that.
I want to be like I want to be flying through a window or some shit. If I'm going to die, I want to die in this.
I'm gonna have
like an action stir.
If I have an active demon, like take me to an amusement park and make me ride roller coasters.
No, like your demon is gonna like recreate Final Destination.
What? No.
No. Your demon loves movies, and it's gonna be Final Destination.
Oh, I love that movie. Those movies.
No, I want my demon to be a fan of like John Wick or something.
Oh my God. What? So you can just like be an action star?
Yeah. I'll like tumble down an escalator and just crack my neck on the way down.
Cool. Yeah. Sounds good.
Hey, it's better than flying off a roller coaster.
That would be, I mean, both of those would be very interesting deaths, so.
Yeah, it's better than like
yours
flying
is probably
off.
A little more badass though.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, so they are going to bed that night. This is October 4th, night 17. Mika has an experiment he wants to do where he puts baby powder on the floor to see if they can see any footprints or anything. So they do that. They put a good amount of baby powder on the floor that leads down the hallway upstairs and right above the landing on the steps. And of course, around 3 a.m., the humming starts. You hear loud, heavy footsteps. They both wake up and like peek over the edge of the bed into the hallway, and you could see freaking white footprints, but with like 3 toes, kind of like a chicken's, but like scary. Like a scary chicken.
Chickens are scary.
Oh, they're scary, man.
They're like little dinosaurs.
That's true. They are.
Yeah.
So they end up following the footsteps into like it just sort of went into a closet in their hallway, and they look up in the ceiling and there's like this opening that they had never noticed before. So Mika points the camera up into the attic and he notices there's something in the distance. So he zooms in and it's a really old picture of Katie. And she hasn't seen this picture since her house burned down because she thought that picture had burned with the house.
Yeah.
And they're both like, oh my God, what the fuck?
So a couple things. The whole powder aspect, is that like, do they like does the spirit naturally make those footprints, or is it something intentional? Like
I don't know. It may be. That's a good point. It may be intentional, but like, I don't want to keep using phasmophobia. But when you and I play that, put the salt on the floor, and then there's footprints.
Yeah. But like in like real cases, do you think like a ghost is like hovering off the ground, or are they actually like bound to the earth by having actually to walk? You know, like
I don't know.
Like yeah, obviously they can like phase through something. You know, like that's typical ghost stuff, but. Do you think they're like they're actually stepping on the ground, creating that, or are they?
I think it's possible.
Or is it an intentional thing to do? Like, I want my impression left here. I'm making this footprint.
If you want to be noticed and you intend to make yourself noticed, I think it's understandable to think that it would be an intention thing. If they are, you know, there enough to want to be seen, you know. I guess that doesn't really make a lot of sense trying to convey something like
but how
there
else like how else would you do it? Like it goes back to that simplicity idea of like, oh, here's a very simple way. I'll press down a little bit in this footprint. Then
you could also think it was unintentional and they didn't know that salt or the powder was there or something. But with this,
Ghost doesn't give a shit. They just
free baby powder. Woo!
Yeah. No, but we talked about this like the 30-toe thing. You said it was like a mockery of the Trinity.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So when you see a lot of times in possession cases, someone will end up with these long, straight scratches on some part of their body, usually their back or their sides or something, and it's 3 lines. And it's a mockery. It's said to be a mockery of the Holy Trinity, which is the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And it just seems to always happen that there's always the number 3 that's related to all of these things. So that's another synchronicity that can't just be a coincidence.
Well, but like I imagine someone scratches themselves. The 3 biggest scratches are going to be the fingers between the pinky and the thumb. You know, those 3 fingers. So it could just be a coincidence that if someone is mentally ill and they scratch themselves, it would be those 3 fingers. You won't see like a pinky scratch.
No, maybe not. And that's a good point too. But like with fingernail scratches, they have a very specific look to them, right? They're not just like you stabbed someone with a knife and dragged it down. But with a lot of these pictures, it looks like a point went in and dragged.
Almost like a scalpel. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, like that.
Like it's a deliberate cut with a tool or a claw, not just a broad fingernail.
Yeah, exactly. Because with fingernails, I mean, unless you have those weird pointed fake fingernails, there's a little bit of a different look to it. And sure, I'm fully aware that a lot of this stuff can be faked. But I don't know,
Yeah. But it goes to the idea of like they're making a mockery of the Holy Trinity, but why? Like the Roman Catholic Church does a lot of the exorcisms, but are demons really like a thing that's Christian specific?
That's something.
Or is it
something that I was thinking about too, because I'm not necessarily a very religious person. I don't, I don't really think that those, I'm not into that stuff. I was raised Christian and stuff, but it's not something that I practice at all.
But you think it's like a demon just mocking someone's beliefs rather than actually being
That seems like a good explanation.
An enemy of that, you know,
making itself known as an enemy, which would also bring dread too, and you see it mocking your comfort system. That's gonna suck.
Yeah. Well, but also it's like the exorcisms. Supposedly they work, and this goes to the idea.
Yeah, see, that's what's confusing to me.
It is this the idea that can a belief in something give it power, like negative emotions feed a demon, can positive emotions feed an exorcism.
And if you believe in the the cross with Jesus on it, and that's your power, then that get rid of this thing that you have decided to, believe that it's evil. It's just that opens up the whole thing.
Yeah, it's like, can belief give something power?
I mean, yeah, of course it can, but is that the case here? I don't know. Maybe it is.
Like I like to think about what I can't. One of the Harry Potter movies, you have to think a happy thought to cast spell to reject the Dementors or something,
Yeah, you're Patronus.
Yeah, Patronus, a happy thought, go away.
Yeah, it has to be the happiest thought you've ever
thought.
So, and it's it's been proven throughout history, of course, belief gives power, or belief gives things and people
wait, it's
power.
Been proven.
Well, I mean, you see it all the time. I'm not saying there's proof. There's just look around.
Oh, I thought you meant you saw someone walk on water, believe.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, you believe in a person, you want them to rule the world or whatever. I don't know, be king. People who believe, the more belief there is in a certain thing, the more popular it is. I don't know. That is a form of power.
And you think this it could extend to that in ways we don't understand?
That's possible.
I don't see
why not.
Suggesting.
I don't see why not. Yeah. Anyway, I like that conversation. The next day, Katie and Mika are clearly tired and they're both agitated. They decide to review the footage, and then they're like, no. So she finally calls Dr. Avery's. Mika tries to stop her, claiming that they're in control. Avery's is out of town, so she calls Fredericks. I don't know if I'm saying it right, whatever. And he's going to come back the next day. So he comes back the next day. That night, the 18th night, October 5th, the humming begins. And the light down the hall turns on. Huge footsteps come up the stairs. Light turns off. The footsteps run away. Bedroom door slams really hard. You start hearing this loud banging and pounding on the bedroom door. So Mika goes over and opens the door. There's nothing there, of course. And then door slams again. And there's more pounding on the door. Katie refuses to sleep in the bedroom and wants to sleep downstairs. So they start slowly making their way down the stairs. I think when I wrote down the door creaks, I guess they heard something else downstairs, and then they go back up and stay there for the night. Next day, they're exhausted and scared.
Yeah,
Katie won't sleep. Yeah, and seems like she's in that trance again, where it's just. And I wrote down, I wrote that they were not their perky, happy selves anymore. They're just tired. It's sad.
Well, it's like that constant. It's almost like a battle of attrition to wear down their will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. That's almost dead on.
Yeah, that's usually what you hear, like in real life cases, like that. It's a constant torment and dread for these people.
You're gonna get defeated.
Yeah,
really quickly.
Especially sleep. That's torture.
Yeah, sucks.
Yeah,
that's the worst. All right. All right. So in the daytime now, they've started hearing loud bangs and thumping in the house during the day, and so they hear this one specific boom upstairs. So they go check, and it's a picture of the both of them, but the glass is cracked only over Mika's face. And then they're just freaking out, and Katie's like, "Oh my God, it's here! I can feel it breathing on me." So they run downstairs and wait for Dr. Fredericks.
They're running.
Lots of running. They're just tired, man.
Well, not tired enough to run.
Yeah. The psychic gets there and immediately says he can't help the entity doesn't want him there and says he's doing more harm by being there and leaves. That sucks. This was like oh my god, we're gonna make it until Avery's gets here. No.
Yeah, wasn't there a cracked picture as well for Mika?
I said that.
You did. I missed that. My bad.
Did.
My bad.
Yeah, I did.
I was so focused on you saying the I was so focused on you saying the doctor's name wrong. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was very distracting.
I see.
It's like disrespecting a demon. You gotta say his name right. It's respect.
I'm saying both things that it could be so that I just cover all my bases. Right. That's how it do.
Yeah, but it's overall it's just the possession is getting stronger. That's it.
Yeah.
And
there's no hope for them now. So the demon is making it so that he, the psychic knows he doesn't want him there. So then that sort of squishes any hope they may have had for feeling any better. And that makes things even more negative. It's terrible.
So negative.
And then we're on to the last 2 nights now.
Yeah.
Night 19. Of course, humming, tapping, pounding. And then you see this creepy bit where the sheets sort of lift up, like somebody lifted up the sheets and just stuck their arm under there or something. I don't know.
Do you think like that's like trying to symbolize it trying to pull Katie but can't yet? Like still needs more time?
Or maybe it's trying to get in. Maybe
it's like
just
message,
trying to get in.
Like, do you think?
I don't know.
Like it knows it's being watched.
I don't know. It could be any of those things. It sounds fine. I think it's trying to scare the crap out of her and it's trying to get in.
Like a lot of things with demons, they want to send a message rather than do something until they're ready.
I don't know. I think that initially it's going to try to send a message and scare the crap out of you, make you feel negative and terrible so that it can wear you down a little more. But at this point, I figured you'd be so worn down. Maybe it is like a level thing where you got to sort of jump over a wall or break the fence down to get in. Yeah, that. Or is it just them trying to get in any way they can, and they're almost there? And I don't know. I feel like a demon would take any chance it could.
Yeah, it's constantly probing to see if the subject's ready to be possessed fully.
Yeah. I think either is a likely explanation. Maybe someone who listens to this will have answers for it, because it would be really interesting to hear what other people thought about these things, or know even. You can tell me I'm wrong. I probably am.
You're wrong.
But shut up. It's not okay if you tell me. You don't know. But it's interesting to think about the possibilities and things. It's very fun. Where did we leave off? Okay. The next day. Oh, wait. Nope. Sorry. Wait, hold on. Things I wrote in parentheses. Things are incredibly negative, intense from here on. Like they haven't already been.
So
the next
intense.
Day, you can hear constant tapping noises, and Katie feels it watching her. She's miserable. Mika reviews footage and sees a shadow on the door after the sheets move. And they're like freaked out, of course. Mika researches everything. He finds Diane, who has had the same things happen to her. And he says it's random. He says from what he's read, it seems entirely random. But at this point, they don't know about the mother and like the sort of pact that she made with her weird coven.
Yeah, that lore happens way later.
Mm-hmm. It does.
But yeah, it just seems random. And to be fair, it'll seem random to most people in real life, like random demon. And to be fair, it most likely is random demon. Or you just like, you don't realize it, like when you play around with a Ouija board, it's inviting a demon.
Yeah. That's it. This is why you gotta be careful of things like that. Don't do it. That's another. Hey, Darksy. We're gonna move on. You want to move on to the last? Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. Next to last night.
Yeah, last 2.
Okay. Night 20. Okay, the shadow crosses the door again, which creeped me out. I loved it. And it grabs Katie's foot and yanks her out of bed, like violently. She's screaming. It slams the door after he's got her out of the bedroom. Mika obviously freaks out and runs after her, being pulled away, and he brings her back into the bedroom. That was that night. The next day, Katie is begging to leave the house. And Mika's like, yeah, we'll get a hotel. That's great. And then Katie has this mark on her back that Mika pulls, he wants to get it on camera. It's like an animal bite with its teeth. Like they're really pointed. Again, they're pointed. Like they've got, it's like the canine teeth that we have. Yeah, like fangs.
Yeah, but it's like what? It goes back to this idea like demons mark their subject and the target, they in some way, and in the movie it's chosen to be a bite mark, but in real life, like it's common, like you said, the scratch of 3, there's some sort of mark to say, hey, this is mine, this is my body, or this is my soul.
Maybe you're too far gone, or like it's over.
Now they're that for like they have that much power over this person.
Yeah. Well, oh, that sucks. That's so bad. Ugh. Katie, eventually, she's like shown. Mika finds her sitting in the kitchen on the floor, and she's got something in her hand, and her hand's bleeding, and she's holding onto a small cross so tightly that it's making her hand bleed. So Mika decides to burn the picture that they found in the attic of her. He goes to get Katie so they can leave. She's in bed. And suddenly she says she doesn't want to leave. She wants Mika to stay with her in the house and says it'll be better if they stay and to trust her. Says they'll be okay. Mika's like, what the fuck? Okay, fine. And then what happened on night 21? You want me to read it? You want to read it?
Yeah, you go ahead. You're the believer. You believe this happened.
That's true. I'm basic. That's what this show is. It's me just trying to convince you that you don't know everything.
Thank you. Okay. I don't. Okay, convince me. Go ahead. This is your last chance tonight.
Oh my god. No. We got a lot of shows to do. I've got a lot of time. Oh, jeez, don't do that. All right, night 21, the last night, October 7th. You hear the obligatory humming. Katie sits up really suddenly and gets out of bed at 1:30 a.m. She turns and walks over to Mika's side of the bed and stands there until about 3:15 a.m. So about an hour and 15 minutes. I don't know how to do math. That's fine. A long time she stands there. She then walks downstairs, and then you hear this freaky scream from her. She's yelling Mika's name. So Mika gets up, he goes downstairs. You hear this crazy pounding, like someone is, I don't know, jumping on the floor. Who has like really big, I don't know, somebody's punching a wall. It sounds violent. And then everything goes silent. You then hear heavy footsteps go up the stairs, and you hear this roar as Katie throws Mika into the camera. She's got blood on her shirt. And then the ending that we saw, I know there's a few different endings, but this one, she bends down and smells him and sniffs him kind of like an animal. Then she roars at the camera, and that's it.
Well,
and Mika's dead.
Yeah, you've got one improvement bit.
What?
Her face has like this demon manifestation.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think that's
and
like
it's
that.
Terrifying.
And you always hear like how like in possession, something happens to the person's body.
It's taking over.
Yeah, it's taking over this demonic features, like they're disturbing the body, cracking bones, going beyond what a human would normally tolerate,
Yeah. Yes. God. Well, yeah, and that's a good point, though, because you can see it in the face. Obviously, it's not her anymore. And then moving around the way she was. Yeah, that's good. That's a good point.
Yeah. So it's like, it's just representative of like the idea that you kind of, like a demon takes over and manifests through the person at that point. And you hear this all the time, like in different demonic possession cases, that they are... There's some kind of manifestation. They break bones as they distort their body. They're all twisted. They get superhuman strength. They gain all these like things that a normal human wouldn't have access to, or they would show.
Or they're like really mean.
Yeah, and some things like
human meanness.
Well, it depends. Like, and there's a lot of depictions in media from like this, like a very demonic face, to like in some shows like Lucifer, like they just have red eyes or some shit. You know, the depictions are varied, and it's varied because there's no consistency between all these demonic cases. Sometimes it's very demonic, sometimes it's very subtle, where they're just not themselves.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, and it just seems like depression or something. I don't know. It's very interesting, and God, would I love more answers. It's the give me your secrets part of the show right now. Give me your secrets. But I don't want to talk to you because you're scary. That's the only difference now. I want to talk to the aliens, but I'd rather not talk to
What stops an alien from just like doing a intergalactic drive-by and blowing up the house?
Oh my God, that went from 0 to 60 real quick.
You're inviting like an alien to come to your place with the tarot card readings, like a Ouija board invites a demon. You know, like you can show up and it's like that scene from Independence Day where it just blows up the White House. That happens to your house because you do a tarot reading.
God. I don't think it's gonna happen. It's intent. Remember, I just want to talk. Yeah,
I just want to talk to a demon. Okay, let's break out the Ouija board.
Oh my God. Anyway, I don't even know what to say after that. What else? I want to learn more about this stuff now. I will not go ghost hunting with you.
No, but we'll go ghost hunting through Alexa for the 100th episode special. It's confirmed. Indrid's promised.
No.
But no, Paranormal Activity, I just thought it would be a fun movie because it's a gateway to all these different discussions. Because it relies on a lot of real life ghost hunting knowledge, you know? A lot of techniques, general ideas about humans, you know? Like, yeah, it's like played up for entertainment value, you know, it's a movie. But it actually utilizes a lot of things from actual ghost hunting.
Yeah, exactly.
Demonology study as well. Yeah, and
it seems like there's too many coincidences or synchronicities that it's just something. I don't know. I mean, again, like with the Point Pleasant, you know, the Indrid cold case and everything, there were so many different witnesses with the same stories. And sure, someone could be copying another one, but a lot of times it just doesn't seem like it's copied, and you can't really fake emotion when you're telling the stories. These people that have survived it, there's a lot of emotion. It's hard to, okay? It's really hard to.
What's interesting about ghost stuff is that that this was happening for a long while in medieval history, where there's like very little communication between people, you know?
Yeah.
And they would have similar stories. So I don't know, that would have some interesting, that's an interesting aspect of it. Maybe some ancient hauntings we could cover. But of all things, I feel like the paranormal ghost stuff is like the closest I am to believing something. But it's still out there for me. Where it's like but the thing is, the shit scares me because I guess it's the closest to home. Because like aliens, like I believe in aliens, just not aliens on Earth or anywhere near our planet. I like like the universe is big. There's bound to be like another chance for life out there, you know?
Yeah, of course.
But like when we talk about aliens, we're talking about like little green men kidnapping people or some shit.
That's not. No, you know that's not
The body snatching and then invading Mars, and they're from Mars and invading, you know.
Sure. Yeah, that's that.
No, but ghost stuff is like the closest thing because I think it's weird just because that we can not perceive something doesn't mean it's not there, you know. It may just be beyond our current technology or senses, but at the same time,
our brains too, we only use a certain amount.
But
there's other stuff we don't know how to use.
Yeah, but at the same time, we can't use that as a saying that's why ghosts are real just because we can't perceive it. I'm willing to.
what I mean.
Yeah, I know.
Saying
but
maybe we don't perceive it all the way, and it's
but I can
understand.
accept the idea that there's something out there we just don't understand at the moment.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. I think there are things out there that. But I mean, I've conceded to the fact that we may never understand them in our lifetime. Unfortunately, I would love to, but I don't think it's going to happen. Sadly, maybe maybe I'll be surprised, and somebody smarter than me will be like, "Here you go, here, Indrid. Here's all my secrets. You asked."
Well,
I want the secrets,
you're still trying the tarot cards with aliens.
I'm gonna try eventually. I just want to make sure
you've been saying,
I've got the knowledge.
I think you're just too scared because you've been saying eventually for like months now.
I know, but there's a reason. I don't want to, screw up in a way that I didn't mean to.
Like you flipped them off.
Contact something else. Yeah, sure, I guess, but I don't want to contact, basically the wrong phone number almost. I don't want to contact something else.
Oh, yeah, like you want to like contact the good aliens, not the like xenomorphs.
That's not what I mean. I don't want to contact demons instead of aliens. Basically, I don't want to contact them.
Well, if you get a response, how do you know it's not a demon masquerading?
I don't, but I'm not expecting I'm not expecting a physical response. It's theory I have. I don't want to talk about it right now because I'll seem crazy. So
okay,
that's another day.
Another time we may have like a tarot card like special or something.
Maybe, or like a Indrid's Weird Theories special.
Like the tinfoil hour. we get like little tinfoils for both our avatars and just like have the most outlandish theories,
I mean, yeah, but I actually believe mine, so I'm not saying come up with a ridiculous theory. I'm like, tell me your weirdest theory that you feel could be true. That's what I would want to hear. Is if you had a weird theory.
I do have some weird theories. I have some weird theories.
Are they about paranormal things?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Well,
then
supernatural, paranormal, alternate timeline, stuff like that.
Hell yeah. Let's do it. That sounds fun.
A tinfoil hour,
Yeah. Yes. Let's do that. Cool. Anything else?
No, movie was good. We probably should do the rest of the series. It covers a lot of different aspects.
More violent, creepier. It's fun.
Yeah, we'll probably get the most. We'll probably get the most out of the first one, but I think the other ones have different like aspects that could be discussed.
I love the second one.
The second one's the best, but I think the first one we get like kind of like all the discussion out of it, and then we can probably squeeze a little bit more out of other movies. I like the dot projector one, and that one is also interesting.
Yeah.
And then there was there was the other one, Merked ones, where there's like a different belief system in the demons. You know.
Yeah. Okay. I would like to watch that one again. I don't remember too much about it. It's been so long.
So it's interesting. Like, and we'll also like cover other movies. I think a good one would be The Conjuring, because it covers actual like.
That one.
Yeah. What? You don't like The Conjuring?
It's very scary, but it's still really good. I haven't seen it in a long time though.
It's scary, but what I love about it is it's actually based on like real ghost hunters, like loosely, one of their cases. Like, some of the most famous paranormal hunters.
Ed and Lorraine.
Yep, Ed and Lorraine, which is like honestly what inspired this podcast, at least from my side. Is like I want to talk about them at some point. I find them fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, I think it's probably time to go for tonight, huh?
Yeah. Everyone, remember, go out, buy a Ouija board, contact the demon.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
No.
Indrid please says, don't do that.
Please do. Please do.
Do not do that. Also, thank you for listening.
Yeah. Thanks for watching and listening.
Come back next week if you want to hear us talk about weird stuff again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Bye.